Yo, what's going on guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 news and information video. Damn, it feels so good to speak those words, considering that obviously now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, the only sort of news and information we're now going to be getting for the game is obviously towards any sort of additional content, and as of course we know, there is going to be a DLC pack that will be releasing in some time that will obviously expand on the story and obviously add Final Mix-esque features. But for today, we actually do have some really exciting news about some upcoming DLC. In fact, some DLC that is releasing tomorrow. That is the long-awaited, well, not so much long-awaited, but more so the mode that we were really wanting from, the get-go, and that is Critical Mode. A lot of people were shocked to find out that Critical Mode was nowhere to be found in Kingdom Hearts 3 upon launch, which was pretty disappointing. Shortly afterwards, though, obviously it was made clear from Square that they didn't decide to actually add in Critical, as they wanted to actually make this version of Critical for Kingdom Hearts 3 slightly different to previous Critical modes. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of judgments thrown towards Kingdom Hearts 3's difficulty, especially when looking towards Proud, which is currently the hardest difficulty in the game. Now, from my own personal experience, although yes, I'm still yet to finish this game.
That dang, the sweat's starting to drip, boys, because this brand new mode comes out tomorrow and I'm still yet to pull myself through the fucking experience.
Proud mode is honestly extremely easy, and I don't think it just comes down to the sheer difficulty factor, but also the overall mechanics of the game. I found that in the ways of specifically the situation commands, there is just so much spam surrounding that system, and also things like Grand Magic, obviously Attraction Flow Rides, all of which are just extremely powerful. Now, it has been made apparent that for this newfound Critical Mode, they have adjusted all sorts of different things and even added in new things such as abilities. They've mentioned that they want to make this version of Critical Mode more technical, so it's more so suited for people who like action games where they actually have to think on their feet, as explained by Tai Yasue over the past sort of couple of months. Speaking though specifically towards the brand new abilities, this was actually something that was recently posted during a GDC interview with Tai Yasue. From Game Reactor during GDC, they decided to post this article late, I suppose, but during this interview, Tai Yasue actually talked a little bit more about Critical, and this is the news towards specifically the new abilities. He mentioned here, so like I mentioned earlier, we adjusted a lot of the gameplay and we set out to create a new experience, like creating new abilities, for example. They are sort of orientated towards the technical side, so people good at action games and know the exact timing on when to guard or do a counter. Abilities are targeted towards that sort of gameplay. We wanted players to be able to clear the game in a fair battle, so we didn't want people to feel like it was unfair and getting cheated, so we actually adjusted a lot of the AI and the enemies as well. And it was a big effort. We were all working on weekends doing this Critical Mode. We wanted to get it right. Another interesting thing that he did actually bring up in this interview too is mentioning that cooking in this Critical Mode is a little bit more important. He said right here, I realized that cooking is really important all of a sudden. For the beginner / standard modes, if you like cooking, you can use cooking, but for Critical Mode, the wide array of gameplay that is there means you really have to utilize everything, which is actually one thing that puts a smile on my face, although I know that there's probably going to be a lot of you guys that disagree with the fact that you have to kind of hone in on cooking a little bit more for Critical. It is a feature that is in the game, and even when I'm on Proud, I don't find myself sort of really being forced to do the whole cooking thing. I feel like I can get by fine within a lot of the different fights without the need of actually having to go and do cooking, although I am actually just doing it because the system is there. I don't feel the immediate need to actually constantly go back, cook new meals to get obviously those extra stat bonuses. So in the ways of things like improved AI, mentioning that the game is now more technical, you actually have to think on your feet and you have to think about counters and guards. The fact that cooking is more important and ultimately new abilities, it sounds like this Critical Mode is bringing in sort of a whole new side to the game, a sort of new way to experience the game, which is the one thing we're really hoping for just because of the fact that Proud is pretty much a cakewalk, or at least from what I've experienced so far and have seen what other people have been saying about it. As it has been mentioned, both beginner and standard have been toned down, and this was mainly because they wanted to make it easier for new newcomers to get a feel for Kingdom Hearts and for it to not be so punishing, but I honestly do believe that through making both beginner mode as well as standard mode easier than previous standard and beginner modes in other Kingdom Hearts games, I feel like they've also toned down Proud a hell of a lot as well, which honestly is pretty disappointing considering the fact that when you look at both beginner mode and standard mode within any other previous Kingdom Hearts game, honestly I think that in the terms of those difficulties, they weren't really necessarily too hard, and I don't think that Square actually needed to tone those down for Kingdom Hearts 3. Just considering all the mechanics that you can utilize in Kingdom Hearts 3, you really do feel like an absolute god that just cannot be touched at all. Like, your cheeks stay clean pretty much the whole way through. In terms of the changes that I would personally like to see, although we don't actually have specifics as of right now, and probably won't until the mode is actually released, I would like to see the Kupo coin actually being removed from Critical, although yes, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a Kupo coin. It'd be cool to just remove that from the system. I honestly do think that the Kupo coin is pretty cheese. I think honestly there should be some kind of resource that is sacrificed in order to use some of the situation commands, mainly talking about like the Grand Magic. I think MP should be consumed for those, as well as team attacks. The rate of which situation commands pop up, they seem to pop up extremely frequently, so I would like to actually see them toned down. Maybe also not having so many being able to be stacked at one time, restricting it to maybe 1 or 2. This is just my opinion, but I really would like the whole attraction flow ride system to be removed for Critical, although I don't think Square will do that just because it is one of the brand new flashy features of the game. I do honestly believe that the whole attraction flow ride system is kind of a little bit overpowered. I find myself just choosing not to use any of the rides whatsoever, as it does really feel cheese. I do know that there is specifically one moment in the game where you absolutely need to use attraction flow, but I mean, they could just change this for Critical if they have already. I mean, if not, honestly, it won't bother me too much. If the system has been changed so substantially to make a lot of different areas and corners of the game more harder, then perhaps maybe the attraction flow ride system won't be so overpowered. I'm excited to also see the improved AI. The one thing that was actually talked about before Kingdom Hearts 3's release is that AI is smarter this time around, and I was honestly really looking forward to exactly how enemies react. But to be quite honest with you guys, it just seems as if enemies really do charge in face first, and to be fair, with all of the spam in terms of the situation command system, you just wipe out groups just like that. I have noticed though, for some of the bigger enemies, when you are using some strong abilities, especially when looking towards like finishes and whatnot, or sometimes even shot locks, for like the Rock Troll as an example, they do actually move out of the way of some attacks, so maybe they're focused on more of a sort of strategic element in terms of the enemies actually like avoiding attacks. But all around, those are just like a few little changes that I would personally like to see. Obviously, we will find out exactly what has been changed for this mode when the mode obviously releases for free tomorrow. One other thing that I know a lot of people are wanting is more balance towards level 1 runs. Currently, as of right now, level 1 is actually available for beginner, standard, and proud, which is new to that for Kingdom Hearts 3. Previously, level 1 was only available to be activated on for specifically critical mode, but now we can activate it for all difficulty types. A lot of people have actually said that standard mode is the better mode to play on with level 1, as it is a little bit unbalanced when playing level 1 proud. And this is interesting because this is actually one thing that was brought up by Tai Yasue before Kingdom Hearts 3's release, with him saying that you do actually have different difficulty choices even by selecting no XP, which means that obviously you will not gain XP and will remain on level 1 all the way through, creating for a sort of new challenge. The issue is though, there is definitely some balancing they need to do, and although personally I have not played through it yet, as I'm still needing to pull myself through the entire experience, I have heard for boss fights like the Raging Vulture, Skull, and a few of the endgame fights, the amount of chip damage you do is pretty disgusting. So Here's hoping that with the release of Critical Mode, they've also focused on Level 1, hopefully designing this Critical Mode with Level 1 in mind, considering that when looking towards previous Kingdom Hearts titles, Level 1 crit runs are a pretty damn popular thing. It's almost become like the sort of mythic difficulty of Kingdom Hearts. This will most likely just be an update that will be applied to your game, so as soon as you start up your PlayStation 4 or Xbox, the update will no doubt automatically download for your Kingdom Hearts 3. In the comment section down below though, guys, let me know if you are excited for this. What changes would you like to see added into this new Critical Mode? What things would you like sort of added or removed? I'm definitely looking forward to the new abilities as well. As Tai Yasue has explained, these abilities will hone in more towards tactical elements in terms of counters and blocks, so I'm really interested to see exactly what that means. Fingers crossed that everything that they've said towards this Critical Mode comes to fruition in terms of us actually receiving the harder mode that all of us have been wanting. Alright guys, that is all for today's news and information video. In the comment section down below, leave your thoughts. Otherwise, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stain. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up your bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.